Is your JavaScript code running slower than it should? A few milliseconds can be the difference between a high-converting user experience and a frustrated bounce. In this video, we will cover JavaScript Performance Optimization practice questions and certification prep. Unlock the secrets of high-performance web applications. This video provides 30 detailed practice questions and explanations for the JavaScript Performance Optimization certification. In this comprehensive guide, we are diving deep into 30 professional-level practice questions focused on JavaScript performance optimization. We cover everything from event loop mechanics to memory management and web vitals. Grab a pen and paper, or open your code editor, and let's see how many of these performance challenges you can solve. Which of the following is a common cause of memory leaks in modern JavaScript applications? Option A. Using const instead of let. Option B. Forgotten timers or callbacks, e.g., set interval. Option C. Deep nesting of function calls. Option D. Frequent use of the spread operator. The correct answer is B. Memory leaks occur when the garbage collector cannot reclaim memory because an object is still reachable. Forgotten timers like set interval or set timeout hold references to objects in their closures. If the interval is not cleared using clear interval when a component or page is destroyed, the callback and any variables it references remains in memory indefinitely, leading to a steady increase in heap usage. In the context of the JavaScript event loop, which task takes priority after the current execution stack is empty? Option A. The next macro task, set timeout. Option B. The rendering pipeline. Option C. Micro task queue. Promises, process, next tick. Option D. The network I/O queue. The correct answer is C. The event loop prioritizes the micro task queue over the macro task queue. After every single macro task finishes, the engine checks the micro task queue and executes every task in it until the queue is empty, before moving to the next macro task or allowing the browser to render. This is why promise resolutions are handled faster than set timeout callbacks. What is the primary performance benefit of using a document fragment? Option A. It automatically minifies the HTML content. Option B. It bypasses the JavaScript execution engine. Option C. It minimizes reflows and repaints by performing DOM updates off-screen. Option D. It increases the memory limit of the browser tab. The correct answer is C. A document fragment is a lightweight version of a document. When you append multiple elements to a document fragment, no reflow layout calculation is triggered because the fragment is not part of the active DOM tree. Once the fragment is fully built, you append it to the real DOM in a single operation, triggering only one reflow instead of one for every individual element inserted. When using the less than script greater than tag, what does the defer attribute ensure? Option A. The script is executed immediately, blocking HTML parsing. Option B. The script is downloaded in parallel and executed only after the HTML document is fully parsed. Option C. The script is downloaded only when the user scrolls to it. Option D. The script is executed in a background web worker thread. The correct answer is B. The "defer" attribute tells the browser to download the script file in parallel while continuing to parse the HTML. However, the execution of the script is deferred, until the HTML parsing is complete. Unlike async defer scripts also maintain their relative order, making them ideal for scripts that depend on the full DOM or other scripts. What is hidden classes in the context of V8 engine optimization? Option A. A way to hide private properties in ES6 classes. Option B. An internal mechanism to optimize property access by tracking object shapes. Option C. A security feature that prevents code injection. Option D. A method to compress JavaScript files. The correct answer is B. JavaScript is dynamically typed, making property access slower than in compiled languages. To optimize this, the V8 engine creates hidden classes, or shapes, at runtime. When objects share the same structure, same properties added in the same order, they share a hidden class. This allows V8 to use inline caching for property lookups. Adding properties to objects in a different order or dynamically deleting properties breaks this optimization and reverts to slower dictionary lookups. Which metric measures the time from when a user first interacts with a page to the time when the browser is actually able to begin processing event handlers in response? Option A. Largest contentful paint, LCP. Option B. Cumulative layout shift, CLS. Option C. First input delay, FID. Option D. Time to interactive, TTI. The correct answer is C. First input delay, FID, specifically measures the responsiveness of a page during load. High FID usually happens because the main thread is busy executing a large JavaScript file, preventing the browser from responding to user inputs like clicks or taps. Note: FID is being replaced, supplemented by interaction to next paint, INP, in many performance audits. Which CSS property can be used to inform the browser that an element will change, allowing it to optimize rendering ahead of time? Option A. Display. Optimize. Option B. Will change. Option C. Render strategy. Fast. Option D. Backface visibility. The correct answer is B. The "will change" CSS property provides a hint to the browser about which properties are likely to change. This allows the browser to perform expensive optimizations, like creating a separate compositor layer, before the actual animation or change happens. However, it should be used sparingly because creating too many layers can consume excessive memory. What is the purpose of the turbofan component in the V8 engine? Option A. It parses the JavaScript source code into an AST. Option B. It is the garbage collector responsible for the young generation. Option C. It is the optimizing compiler that generates highly efficient machine code. Option D. It manages the call stack and memory heap. The correct answer is C. V8 uses a multi-stage pipeline. Ignition is the interpreter that generates bytecode. Turbofan is the optimizing compiler that takes frequently executed hot functions and compiles them into optimized machine code based on profiling data. If the assumptions made during optimization become false type changes, Turbofan performs a de-optimization back to bytecode. Why is it generally faster to access an element in a typed array compared to a standard JavaScript array for numerical computations? Option A. Typed arrays use a more modern syntax. Option B. Typed arrays are stored in a continuous block of memory with a fixed data type. Option C. Standard arrays are always immutable. Option D. Typed arrays automatically run on the GPU. The correct answer is B. Standard JavaScript arrays can contain mixed types and are often implemented as hash maps or fragmented structures. Typed arrays, like int32 array, represent a raw buffer of binary data. Because the type and size are fixed, the engine can allocate a contiguous block of memory, allowing for much faster indexing and SIMD, single instruction, multiple data, optimizations during mathematical operations. What is the performance advantage of "promise all settled" over promise.all? Option A. It executes promises in parallel whereas promise.all is serial. Option B. It is faster because it ignores errors. Option C. It doesn't short-circuit if one promise fails, allowing all operations to complete. Option D. It uses less memory than promise.all. The correct answer is C. While promise.all rejects immediately if any promise fails. Short-circuiting promise all settled waits for all promises to either resolve or reject. From a performance and stability standpoint, this allows you to collect all results and handle partial failures without losing the data from successful concurrent requests. In the version 8 feet generational garbage collection strategy, where are new objects initially allocated? Option A. Old space. Option B. New space. Nursery. Option C. Code space. Option D. Large object space. The correct answer is B. V8 uses a generational GC. Most objects die young. They are initially allocated in the new space or nursery. This space is small and cleaned frequently using a scavenge algorithm, which is very fast if an object survives 2 scavenge cycles. It is promoted to the old space, which is larger and managed by a more complex mark sweep compact algorithm. Which technique involves sending critical JavaScript or CSS before the browser requests them to speed up the page load? Option A. Lazy loading. Option B. Code splitting. Option C. HTTP 2 server push or link rel equals preload. Option D. Tree shaking. The correct answer is C. Preloading. Less than link rel equals preload, greater than tells the browser to fetch a resource as soon as possible because it will be needed shortly. This moves the fetch higher in the priority list. HTTP 2 server push allows the server to send resources to the cache before the HTML has even been fully parsed by the client. Though preload is currently the more recommended and controllable approach. Which of the following loop patterns is typically the most performant for large arrays in JavaScript? Option A. For, in. Option B. For each. Option C. Standard for loop. Let I equals O. I less than len. I plus plus. Option D. Map. The correct answer is C. The standard backquote for backquote loop is usually the fastest because it has the least overhead. Backquote 4. In backquote iterates over all enumerable properties, including the prototype chain, making it very slow. Backquote for each backquote and backquote map backquote are functional approaches that involve a callback function for every element, adding stack frame overhead. For massive datasets, a simple backquote for backquote loop or backquote while backquote loop allows the engine to optimize the iteration most effectively. What is the primary use case for backquote request idle callback backquote? Option A. Running high priority animations. Option B. Executing background or low priority tasks without blocking the main thread. Option C. Ensuring a script runs before the first paint. Option D. Handling user input events like clicks. The correct answer is B. Backquote request idle callback backquote allows developers to queue a function to run during a browser's idle periods, times when the main thread isn't busy processing inputs, animations, or layout. This is perfect for non-critical tasks like telemetry, pre-fetching data, or cleaning up caches without impacting the smoothness of the user interface. How do web workers communicate with the main thread? Option A. By sharing a global variable. Option B. Through direct DOM manipulation. Option C. Via a message passing system. Post message. Option D. By using the backquote window backquote object. The correct answer is C. Web workers run in a completely separate thread and do not have access to the DOM or the backquote window backquote object. To communicate, they use the backquote postMessage backquote method to send data and the backquote on message backquote event listener to receive it. This ensures that the heavy computation in the worker does not block the UI thread. But it also means data must usually be serialized, copied, unless using backquote transferable backquote objects. What is tree shaking? Option A. Removing unused code from the final bundle during the build process. Option B. A method to reorder functions for faster execution. Option C. The process of compressing images in a JS bundle. Option D. A runtime optimization that removes dead variables. The correct answer is A. Tree shaking is a form of dead code elimination. It relies on the static structure of ES6 modules. Backquote import backquote and backquote export backquote. Modern bundlers like Webpack or Rollup can analyze the dependency graph and exclude code that is exported but never actually imported, used anywhere in the application, significantly reducing the payload size. Which of the following actions is most likely to trigger a layout reflow in the browser? Option A. Changing the backquote background color backquote of a div. Option B. Changing the backquote opacity backquote of an image. Option C. Reading the backquote offset height backquote property of an element. Option D. Changing the backquote visibility backquote from hidden to visible. The correct answer is C. Reading layout properties like backquote offset height backquote client width backquote, or backquote get bounding client rect backquote forces the browser to calculate the current layout to provide accurate values. If there are pending style changes, the browser must flush the queue and perform a synchronous reflow, which is a major performance bottleneck often referred to as layout thrashing. What is the benefit of using a backquote weak map backquote instead of a backquote map backquote? Option A. Weak map is faster for lookups. Option B. Weak map allows non-object keys. Option C. Weak map does not prevent garbage collection of its keys if they are not referenced elsewhere. Option D. Weak map can be easily converted to JSON. The correct answer is C. In a regular map, as long as the map exists, the keys and values are held in memory. In a weak map, the keys must be objects, and the references to those keys are weak. If there are no other references to the key object, it can be garbage collected even if it's still in the weak map. This is excellent for associating metadata with DOM elements without causing memory leaks. What is throttling in the context of event optimization? Option A. Waiting until the user stops an action before executing a function. Option B. Ensuring a function is called at most once in a specified time interval. Option C. Preventing a function from ever being called. Option D. Running a function multiple times in parallel. The correct answer is B. Throttling limits the rate at which a function can fire. For example, if you throttle a scroll event to 100 milliseconds, the handler will execute at most once every 100 milliseconds, regardless of how many times the scroll event fires. This is different from debouncing, which waits for a period of inactivity before firing. What happens during deoptimization in V8? Option A. The engine stops the script execution due to an error. Option B. The engine discards optimized machine code and falls back to interpreted bytecode. Option C. The garbage collector deletes unused functions. Option D. The script is minified at runtime. The correct answer is B. V8 makes speculative optimizations. For example, if a function has always received integers, Turbofan compiles machine code optimized for integers. If the function suddenly receives a string, the speculative assumption is wrong. The engine must de-optimize, throwing away the specialized machine code and returning to the slower but more flexible interpreted bytecode. Which attribute should you use for an external script that doesn't depend on any other scripts and whose load order doesn't matter? Option A. Defer. Option B. Async. Option C. Preload. Option D. Blocking equals none. The correct answer is B. The async attribute downloads the script in parallel and executes it as soon as it is finished downloading. This is faster for independent scripts, like ads or analytics, because they don't wait for HTML parsing to finish. However, they can block HTML parsing during their execution phase and do not guarantee order. What is the performance implication of using closures inside loops? Option A. They make the loop run faster. Option B. They can lead to unintended memory retention as each closure maintains a reference to its scope. Option C. They automatically optimize variable access. Option D. They have no performance impact. The correct answer is B. Creating closures inside a loop, like defining a function inside a loop, creates a new function object and a new scope on every iteration. This increases memory pressure and can prevent variables in the outer scope from being garbage collected if those functions are stored elsewhere, e.g., in event listeners, leading to potential leaks. Which factor contributes most to a poor cumulative layout shift (CLS) score? Option A. Slow server response times. Option B. Images without defined width and height attributes. Option C. Large JavaScript execution blocks. Option D. High network latency. The correct answer is B. CLS measures visual stability. If an image is loaded without dimensions, the browser initially allocates 0 pixels for it. Once the image downloads, the browser suddenly shifts the content below it to make room. Providing "width" and "height" or aspect ratio allows the browser to reserve the space before the image arrives, preventing the shift. Why is repetitive string concatenation using the "plus" operator in a loop considered suboptimal in some older engines? Option A. It changes the variable type. Option B. Strings are immutable, so each concatenation creates a new string and copies the old content. Option C. It crashes the browser's parser. Option D. The "plus" operator is deprecated. The correct answer is B. In JavaScript, strings are immutable. Using "str plus equals new" creates a completely new string object in memory, copying the characters from the old string and the new one. In a large loop, this results in O(n)² complexity. While modern engines optimize this significantly, using "array", join, single quote, or string builder patterns is still a safer bet for massive concatenations. Which of the following is true about inlining by the JavaScript engine? Option A. It is the process of putting all CSS into the HTML file. Option B. It replaces a function call with the actual body of the function to reduce overhead. Option C. It converts all images into base 64 strings. Option D. It moves all script tags to the bottom of the body. The correct answer is B. Function inlining is a powerful optimization performed by compilers like Turbofan. If a function is small and called frequently, the compiler replaces the call site with the function's code. This eliminates the overhead of creating a new stack frame, passing arguments, and jumping to a different memory address. What is the recommended maximum duration for a single JavaScript task to avoid blocking the UI and maintaining 60 FPS? Option A. 100 milliseconds. Option B. 50 milliseconds. Option C. 16.7 milliseconds. Option D. Ones. The correct answer is B. While 16.7 milliseconds is the total budget for a single frame, 1000 milliseconds 60 frames. Google's Rail model suggests that individual tasks should ideally not exceed 50 milliseconds. This ensures that even if a task starts right when a user interacts, the browser can still respond within 100 milliseconds, which feels instant to the user. Which of these is a benefit of using async iterators and for a wait of Option A. They run synchronous code faster. Option B. They allow for memory-efficient processing of data streams or large paginated APIs. Option C. They prevent all possible race conditions. Option D. They eliminate the need for the event loop. The correct answer is B. Async iterators allow you to process data as it arrives. Streaming rather than waiting for an entire large dataset to be loaded into memory. This is highly performant for reading large files or fetching thousands of records from an API, as you only hold a small chunk of data in memory at any given time. How does V8 handle SMI, small integers, differently than other numbers? Option A. SMI values are stored as strings. Option B. SMI values are stored directly in the pointer to avoid heap allocation. Option C. SMI values are always stored on the disk. Option D. There is no difference. The correct answer is B. V8 uses a technique called pointer tagging for small integers. SMIs. It stores the value directly within the pointer itself instead of creating a full object on the heap. This makes integer arithmetic extremely fast and saves a significant amount of memory compared to heap numbers. Floating point values. What is the hydration process in the context of SSR, server-side rendering, frameworks? Option A. Fetching data from a database. Option B. The process of JavaScript attaching event listeners to static HTML sent by the server. Option C. Compressing the HTML for faster transport. Option D. Refreshing the page automatically. The correct answer is B. Hydration is the water that makes the dry HTML interactive. The server sends a fully rendered HTML page so the user sees content quickly. Fast first paint. However, this HTML is not interactive until the JavaScript bundle downloads, executes, and hydrates the DOM by attaching necessary event listeners. Heavy hydration can cause a TBT, total blocking time, issue. Which method is the most efficient for checking if an element matches a specific CSS selector without traversing the whole tree? Option A. Element, inner HTML, includes. Option B. Element, matches. Option C. Document, query selector all, contains. Option D. Element, tag name equals. The correct answer is B. The backquote element, matches. Selector. Backquote method is a highly optimized built-in browser API that returns a boolean if the element would be selected by the provided selector string. It is significantly faster and more readable than manual string checking or running a full backquote query selector all backquote and searching through the result list. Performance is not just a feature. It's a foundational requirement for modern web applications. By mastering these concepts, you're now equipped to build faster, smoother, and more reliable user experiences. If you found these practice questions helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into software engineering certifications. For the full-length practice exam and certification prep, check the link in the description below.